Hi everyone, I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I am based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia, but I help clients all throughout the United States, no matter what your immigration issue is. Sorry, I need to throw on another banner here. Yep. Great. So I can help you with no matter what your immigration issue is. So the types of cases our firm handles are cases, for example, families that are sponsoring either their siblings, their parents, their children, whatnot. We also help with humanitarian cases. We help with employment-based cases where individuals are either applying for their own visa or green card, or a company is sponsoring an individual for a visa or a green card. We kind of handle everything under immigration, but we only do immigration. And we can help you no matter where in the US you are located. So feel free to give us a call. We schedule our consultations by Zoom and by phone. And that means essentially that it just means that if it's by Zoom, it's going to be kind of like this, one-on-one, you and me talking about your case. By phone, it'll be the same thing. I prefer by Zoom. I'm just going to tell you that I prefer by Zoom because I like to show you documents sometimes and walk you through a process of what your case might look like. So you'll be able to see kind of your timeline. You'll be able to see, the different steps involved, what is involved in each step, and you'll be able to ask questions. So it's just Zoom gives me an option to do visuals. But if some people prefer by phone, we just email them the documents and we talk about it and walk through it at the same time if we need to. Not everybody needs that though. Anyway, so we can definitely help you. Sorry, I'm getting emails and messages while I'm talking to you, so I'm easily distracted here. But anyway, so I'm here to answer your immigration questions. Obviously, if you need specific one-on-one information about your case, I would suggest that you call our office for a consultation. Again, that's 703-348-1663. And today, I'm going to go ahead and answer your one-off questions, but to create that attorney-client relationship, we would need you to call and schedule a consultation. But I'm here to help and answer however I can, and I'll do the best I can to answer that for you. Okay, so we're streaming live on both TikTok and on Facebook. Hopefully, if you lose us on one platform, you can join us on the other. Our handle on both is at Agarwal Immigration. Okay, so it's just at Agarwal Immigration. That's Agarwal with one G. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm the only attorney with the firm. So if you call for a consultation, it will be with me. Great. So hi, Coney. Hi, Rena. Hi, Mr. Kumar from Dubai. Hi, Rena. And again, Takia says, what about Canadian immigration? I don't know anything about Canadian immigration, so we only handle U.S. immigration. So that's essentially any kind of issue that requires that you're trying to either get status and stay lawfully in the U.S., or if somebody from abroad is trying to come into the U.S. So essentially, that's the only kind of issue that we handle. Obviously, you can stay in the U.S. based on a whole number of different ways. For example, you can stay based on family. You can stay if you're afraid to return to your home country, and you can also stay if an employer is going to sponsor you for a work visa, right? Or you may be able to qualify on your own without your employer for a work visa. So there's different ways to either come into the U.S. or stay in the U.S. So that is what we focus on, entry and remaining in the U.S. So I actually get a lot of clients that ask me about Canadian immigration. We can refer you to some Canadian attorneys that we've referred to in the past, but you'll need to contact a Canadian immigration attorney to help answer those kinds of questions. Okay. All right. We got some people here. Let's see. Hi, Casper. Hi, Bunny. Hi, Paramjeet. Hi, Asam. So go ahead and type your questions in. I'm happy to answer them. So let me get started. Hi, Sunny. Sunny's on Facebook here. My big fan, Sunny. Nice to see you join us, Sunny. I hope your case is going okay. So let's say I'm going to bring up some questions that come up with my clients, and feel free in the meantime to go ahead and put your questions in, and I'll answer them too. So one thing that happens often in my practice, and that I see more often than I thought, is if an individual, so you or someone entered the U.S. with someone else's visa or passport, right? So you or someone you know entered the US with someone else's visa or passport. What should I do? What options are there for me? Now I'm either married to a US citizen or a green card holder, or now I have a child who's either 21 or over and a US citizen. So there are options for people who enter the U.S. with somebody else's green card or visa in the passport, right? So there are potential options. So there are many ways to do it. So one way that we can often help people is through an I-360 self-petition if they qualify. So usually these people, they entered the U.S. illegally with someone else's visa or green card, that a visa or green card that did not belong to them. So they entered illegally through these documents. They were actually real documents, but it did not belong to them. And they now are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. They cannot leave the U.S. because obviously they would have no way of re-entering, or they entered in this manner and they have a child who is now 21 or over and a U.S. citizen, right? So they may be eligible to process their green card in the U.S. So there are, this is obviously not everyone will be eligible, but if you are eligible, we can talk about that in a consultation. We can talk about the requirements for that in a consultation. But if you are eligible, once we file, you would get work authorization in about 6 to 8 months. You would get a green card in about 2 to 2.5 years, and we would walk you through the whole process. And this is, again, for people who entered illegally, who are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, or if you have a child 21 or over who's a U.S. citizen. So if you're in the situation or you know somebody in the situation, definitely reach out to us and schedule a consultation. We can let you know if you're eligible to process that green card in this way, but there is a way to process it without having to leave the U.S., right? So there's a way to do that, and we can tell you, we can go through it in detail and talk about your situation and your experiences to determine whether or not you qualify in this way. Okay. Again, my name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. We can help you no matter where you are located. If you or someone you know is in this situation, they entered illegally, they're either now married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, or they have a child who is a U.S. citizen who's at least 21, they can give us a call. We can do a consultation with them, and we can let them know sort of if it's possible for them to move forward. And for many of our clients, it has been. Okay. Again, 703-348-1663. Let's see. Hi, Goodju, proudly Goodju. Goodju proudly says, hi, Abzal. Can you tell me, please, on marriage-based green card, if someone doesn't have a social media account? You got cut off there, Goodju. I feel kind of weird calling you Guju, but that's your screen name. Anyway, so if you don't have a social media account, you just say not applicable. I don't have a social media account. So I'm guessing that maybe you're trying to come in from abroad, or you're trying to bring someone in from abroad. So they ask a number of different questions when you're coming in, when the person that is seeking the immigration benefit is abroad, is not in the U.S. So a whole bunch of different questions are asked. And one of the things that are kind of new is provide your social media identification, your social media ID. So basically your Facebook handle, your Facebook, profile name, Instagram, whatever else you're on. And so if you don't have one, you just say not applicable. I don't use social media. So it's nothing that they're going to hold against you. But let's say if you're if you're doing a marriage-based green card, they may check your social media account to make sure, if you're coming in based on marriage and then you're out, making out with all sorts of people and posting pictures, that might suggest that you're not really married, or you're getting married just for immigration purposes, right? So you want to be aware of your social media account. You want to be aware of what you're posting and what that looks like. Obviously, I don't promote fraud marriages. Like, don't get married for immigration purposes, and don't apply for immigration benefits based on a fraudulent marriage. However, if you are married not for immigration purposes, if you're married to start a life with this person, be aware of what you're posting on social media, right? You may have some kind of arrangement with your spouse, but that you want everything that is publicly available to reflect the truth that you're actually married to this person. So just a heads up, keep that in mind. They do check social media accounts, and they do request that you provide the ID, the profile, or mark it private. You might be able to just mark it private too. Okay. All right. If we can help you on any kind of green cards, give us a call. We're at 703-348-1663. Marcos is asking, how are you? I'm doing well, Marcos. Thank you. He says, how long does it take for citizenship process? I'm a permanent resident. It depends on how you, so Marcos, there's two questions, right? So when do you become eligible? And how long does it take once you apply? So some people become eligible to apply for citizenship after 3 years as a green card holder. Most people become eligible to apply for citizenship after 5 years as a green card holder. Okay, so you might be eligible after 3 years or after 5 years. All right, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you're most likely eligible after 3 years. Not everyone, but most likely you are eligible after 3 years to apply for citizenship. Okay, so once you apply, I think it's taking about a year to a year and a half. This is what we're seeing in our experience. It's taking about a year to a year and a half once you apply for citizenship, the whole process. So you'll get fingerprinted, you'll have an interview, and you will have to prepare for that interview. You'll have to know some U.S. history. All of the questions are available online, and they'll also, test your English and ask you basic information about your application as well. So know your application, practice your American history questions, and call us if you need help with citizenship. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. Great. All right, so let's see. Guju, sorry, Miss Guju here. She says, I think I answered your question. It's the same question about the social media account, Guju, right? Hi, Jesse. Hi, Abza. Jesse says hello. Hi. Jesse says I'm in Jackson. Great. Awesome. Guju says thank you. You're welcome. Guju says, what is the prima facie on VAWA? What is that? What is that, right? What is the prima facie on VAWA? Great. That's a great question. So VAWA is for people that are either they're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, or they are divorced from a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and the divorce is less than 2 years from the time of the application. So they're either married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, or they're divorced, but their divorce is less than 2 years from the time of application. Okay. Other people qualify for VAWA if they have a child who is a U.S. citizen who is 21 or over. So there's different ways to qualify for VAWA. It can be women, it can be men. You can all qualify for VAWA. However, so VAWA, once you apply, usually within 2 or 3 months after you apply, you get what's called a prima facie determination. So this is essentially protection. It's protection for you from being removed. So I guess in layman's terms, in just normal English terms, it means we looked at your application, we think you qualify, but we need to spend more time reviewing it in detail. But on its face, you appear to qualify and meet all the requirements. So they give you what's called a prima facie determination. So that comes after usually about 2 to 3 months after you apply for VAWA. After you submit your application, it comes about 2 to 3 months afterwards, and it's essentially protection for you. So you won't get deported while they're looking at your application. So you're allowed to remain in the U.S. based on this while your application is being adjudicated, is being looked at to see if it's going to be approved or not. So it's good. It's a really great step. If you have it, awesome. Congratulations. We do VAWAs very often. If you or someone you know is married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, or if they have a child who is 21 or over and a U.S. citizen, give us a call. We can do a consultation with you and let you know if you qualify for VAWA or if you need to use a different method to apply for a green card, but most likely you are eligible. Okay, you can reach us at 703-348-1663. Hi, Jesse. What are the process that do I need to put in to travel down? I don't know what your question means, Jesse Jackson, Crazy Cars. I do like your handle though, but I don't know what your question means. What are the process do I need to put in to travel down? Got me. You got me. He says, I'm coming from Africa. I'm sorry. Okay, I still don't know what your question is. Hi, Kamar. Marco says, I'm single. Next week, I will be 4 years and 8 months. Okay. Great. All right. Great. I think I think I answered most of your questions. It is nice to see you guys on here. Again, if we can schedule a consultation for you, call our office. We are at 703-348-1663. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I have a question here. I'll get to it in a second, Kumar. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney and I can help clients no matter where you are located. Kumar says, I applied for naturalization in January 2021, but it's a long wait. My mom is sick in India. How can I expedite it? How can I expedite the process? Here's something to know. So you can't really expedite naturalization. So that it's not really something that is available to expedite. Okay. However, Kumar, you have a green card probably. If you're applying for naturalization, you have a green card. So you can travel. Okay? So you should be able to go to India, but just be back in time for your interview, or you can, of course, reschedule your interview if you need to. All right? If you want to call us, if you need our help, I would love to help you. Again, I'm an immigration attorney, and I can help people no matter where in the U.S. or worldwide they are located. Okay? All right. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.